what's going to happen to me? I'm going to spin the other direction a little bit, right? So I'm going to spin it around like that, and I'm going to turn. There's no net torque. I apply the torque to the bar applies the torque to me, right? Do I need the bar? If I'm a cat, I don't need the bar, I just need my hips. So then I just want to take my hips and swivel them around like that, right? Same as the bar, only maybe not quite as much. See, if we had somebody with really flexible hips, we could probably make it work. So that's how I maintain the cat twist. Anybody like to try that? Anybody with flexible hips just like to stand on a platform and swivel around like that once and see if you can turn it off in that direction? Is that your son? Okay, come on down. Is this your brother? What's your name?
Levi.
What is it?
Levi.
Levi?
Yeah.
Okay, Levi, come on down here. You don't know what you're going to do yet, do you? No, you haven't done this before. So I want you to step on the platform here. I normally don't do it like this. I usually have it all on video or something like that, but let me see what we can do. What I want you to do, well, let's just step off for a minute. This is totally unrehearsed, right? You haven't done this before. I just want you to stand here like this and swing your hips around like this. In a great big circle. No, let me show you. Like this. Okay, you can swing your arms with it. Stand around like this. Bend your knees a little bit. There, now swing your hips. So now what you want to do is you want, that's totally unrehearsed, right? You don't know. And he's wondering, what's this crazy guy talking about? Okay, so just stand there. Keep from spinning right now. And I want you to just swivel your hips around. Just swivel your hips. Keep going, all the way around. Again. Here, let me go. Move your hips. I think you can see what I mean. You saw me do it with the weight. And anybody else like to try that? Somebody maybe that's done the hula hoop. Did anybody ever done the hula hoop? Maybe I don't want to take somebody too young on this. I want to get somebody, maybe a teenager, somebody like that, so that we don't have to spend all the time explaining what we're going to do. Over here? Yeah, okay, come on down. Have you done this before? Okay, so your name is Coach Chandler, Brigham Young University. You on faculty down here?
No, I'm a student.
Okay. Look smart enough to be on faculty. Okay, so you know what you're going to do, Joe. You're going to stand up there, and you want to try it with a weight in your hand here first of all. Just put a weight in your hand, and then swing it around and grab it in the other hand. Just keep going. Okay, so that makes you turn in the opposite direction, right? You can stop anytime now. Okay, now do the same thing, only instead of the weight, just swing your hips around. Now you're just going back and forth. Look. On my webpage, you go to physics.weaver.edu/cal. You get on my webpage and you can see an explanation of the cat twist. You also can see a paper that I published about 20 years ago using forces and things, a lot more complicated explanation when I used to do it. But the cat, all it does is it swivels its hips and then spins in the opposite direction. Let me see if I can demonstrate that with a real cat here. I mean, this is as good as it gets. You don't think that's a real cat? Question that can answer yes or no. Question that can answer yes or no. You ask it a question that can answer yes or no. Are you real?
Are you real?
Yeah.
Ask it if it's afraid to flip over.
Are you afraid to kill yourself?
Put a little twist on it. Now let me get behind the table over here. And
bump James's magnets.
Pardon?
Don't bump James's magnets.
End it here?
Yeah, he's got like 45 minutes scheduled, so.
Okay, well, cat's probably worth more money than all of that put together. So I'm gonna hold the cat upside down. I'm gonna bend its back, and then we kick it a little bit, and then I maintain it, swivels its spine, and comes down to land on its feet. Here we go. So that's how the cat does it. Go to my website, see that in slow motion, or I'm going to explain how you can see more about that in our program tomorrow. So one other thing I wanted to show you here with rotational motion.
I am not going on.
Did you say you wanted to help me again?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's next talk about how it is that if you apply a torque to an object, you apply a torque in one direction and it wants to turn 90 degrees to that direction, right? All physicists know that. And if I take this wheel here and let it hang from one end here, if I spin it and let it hang from one end, then gravity's going to apply a torque to tend to make it fall over. But instead of falling over, what does it do? It turns 90 degrees to the direction of falling over, right? So physicists know how that works. But I'm going to try to explain this in about 30 seconds in simple terms. Now this is a wheel that I got from Pasco. It's got four different masses on here. And I built a 4-ball gyro that I'm going to describe in more detail tomorrow. With just 4 masses on the ends and spokes. But if we imagine we just have 4 masses here, and if I imagine this is spinning like this, and if this red one comes past right here, if that red one comes past here, see it's going like this, coming past here, and if I tilt it down that way, what's it going to do? By the time it gets down, it's going to be over here, so instead of going down that way, it's going to go down this way. Should I go through that once more? Here's the red one that comes by. The blue ones and the others are doing similar things. The red one comes by, and I push it down that way, okay? But instead of going down that way, by the time it gets over to here, going down, it's going to be going down that way, right? I push it down, but it gets down over here. That's how it works. So you apply a torque 90 degrees, you apply a torque in a certain direction, and it twists. I'm going to push out and pull back, and it's going to twist side. Put it the wrong direction, okay. Anyway, you get the idea? So what does that have to do with the motorcycle counter steering? Any motorcycle riders? You know all about motorcycle counter steering? Well, I just published a paper on it. It came out in this latest issue of the physics teacher. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow as well. But motorcycle counter steering works on the basis of we have a wheel in front of us like this on a motorcycle. And if I want to turn to the left, I want to push the wheel a little bit to my right like that. So I torque the wheel to the right. That makes it lean, and then leaning, a gravitational torque comes in and makes it turn. So it's a 2-step process. You won't understand that unless you're a physicist. But even if you're a physicist, you probably don't understand it unless you get tangled up in the right-hand rule or something with your hand. But I avoid all that kind of stuff. So let's see, I had oh, I was going to show you one other thing. On the turntable here, if I stand up on this turntable and get this wheel spinning, and then stop it and spin it the other direction, what will happen to me? I'm going to get the wheel spinning, then I'm going to step up on the platform, and then I'm going to stop it and spin it in the other direction. Wow. That makes me spin. Now, I'll ask you this. If I'm spinning and I stop it and start it in the other direction, isn't that equivalent to turning it upside down? Yeah. So if I step up here and turn it upside down, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to start to spin. Okay. If you apply a torque to a wheel, it takes a torque to a wheel to change the angular momentum of the wheel. It takes a torque to stop it. It takes a torque in the same direction to spin it in the opposite direction. So that's about all the time I've got. All right. Thank you very much.
Next we have James Coburn from Utah State University. Oh, I'm wrong, move this stuff. Well, I'll get it for you. I'm just gonna move it back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Get this out of the way.
On the table up here, maybe we could hook up the HDMI yet. We can hook that up. We'll show you this. I've got some magnets, nice pretty colored magnets here. These are all neodymium magnets, all right? They're mean. And they're plastic coated. That makes them look a little bit nicer. But setting them like that, and they're all pointing, you know, North Pole up, they don't really want to sit like this. So they're in an unstable equilibrium right now. And okay, so I'm going to record this because it's going to happen pretty fast. And so I'm going to pick up one of the magnets and drop it in there. You keep tracking and, you know, see what happens here, okay? Got my magnet. Yeah, like I said, okay, these guys over here play. Do it again. Let's see if we can look at that now.
Hey. You know I can still see it.
Good. You're supposed to. Okay, keep an eye on it. Now this is at 600 frames per second, so it's going to take a little bit to, you know, my delay in dropping it will take a little bit there. The suspense.
Wait.
Suspense is killing me.
It is
How
playing,
long
I
does
hope.
it get?
There we go.
That's cool.
Dance fever.
Yeah, it's like a person getting water just spin.
I'm kind of slow.
That's right. No, you're doing it in slow motion.
Ah, this guy knows what's going on. All right. So there we go. Just kind of fun there. The magnets, you know, like I said, they're kind of mean to set up, and they bit me once up here while I was setting up. So, okay, I'm going to switch and tell you a little story. We've been hearing stories today. So I had a student, and no average student. This student, one summer, one of the early summers. Well, before he came to the physics department, he built his own Van de Graaff generators. Okay, and some big ones. And when he came to the physics department, I thought, well, I got a guy that can do some stuff. And so I hired him and another student to build our Tesla coil. So again, this is no average physics student, but he's got some talent, Jacob Danzig. And he came to me and said, I'd like to do a project. We've got a 2-credit project. And the project that I'd like, I said, well, what do you want to do? He said, oh, whatever, what have you got? And I said, no, what are you interested in? And he said that what he would like to do is he would like to do quarter shrinking. Okay, you've heard of quarter shrinking, perhaps? Let me grab my prop here. So I told him, well, I don't know if we can do it, but we can try. So to shrink a quarter, you got to have a really big capacitor. And we have a big capacitor. We have a tokamak lab. And I talked to the researcher there, Ozzy Singh, and he says, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds interesting. So we built a boom box, and what you're seeing here is the boom box. All right? The boom box means that when it explodes, it doesn't get you. So the parts of it, here's the switch, and you've got a string here. This is spring loaded, and you've got a string, so when he pulls that, it's going to close, and that'll fire it. You can see the blue capacitor right at the top. Okay? I think my pointer doesn't point anymore. That's all right. And so the capacitor's at the top. It's a 507 microfarad capacitor. Okay, that may not mean anything to a lot of you, but that's big. Okay, it's itself. Yeah, So it itself stands about this tall, and you know, it's used for the tokamak. And so we hook that up, and then we have it ready to go. So the quarter is right in here, sandwiched between some dowels. So I brought one of those to show you. It's a little bit hard to see through the top of the box. Here's one ready to go. There's a quarter in between this dowel. It's just the right size, taped together with a quarter in it. Put a few wraps of small wire on it, and okay, mount that in. We're going to charge up the capacitor 3,000, 4,000 volts, and then discharge it all at once when that closes, and we're standing back around the corner, even though it's in the boom box, all right?
You just charge it into the coil.
Discharge it into the coil, yeah. So we're going to discharge the capacitor into the coil. There'll be a big current, and we're hoping that the quarter itself, there'll be an induced current in the quarter, and the quarter itself will be repelled away from the magnetic field, you know, set up here, and so you actually get it to shrink. And you know, you've probably seen some of these on the internet, so let's see how it looks. Okay. It's over with, all right? That was cool. What? Do it again. I think I can do that again, and what I'll do is I'll see if I can go through.
Can you make it slow motion?
That would be great, wouldn't it? Let's see if I can.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Yeah, the sound is probably down. That's okay.
The sound's broken.
No sound. It's probably not hooked up. No boom bars, so you don't get that. All right. Okay, that was the flash. So if you can see the strings tightening, and it's going to pull that out, and then you see the, you know, this is about 1.5 inch piece of brass, and that's going to close, and then the current will flow through that, and it overloaded the screen. But it gets a little better, okay? Now we can start to see inside of it. You see some sparks over on the close. Now I can see inside, okay? And things are bouncing around like crazy. The coil, the copper coil, totally obliterates. All right, it explodes completely. There's nothing left of it. And you can see the GoPro camera reflected. That's what we were using. So it's about 120 frames per second. Not super fast, but there we go. Okay, so that's what it kind of looks like. Let's see if we can look at it. So we put some filters in front of the camera just to see if we can see that better. Okay, so this all happens pretty fast again. What I think this is interesting right here. What does that show you? The flash happened and the camera scanned half of the screen. Okay, took half an image during the flash and then finished. Okay, so there it is. Now with you know, a filter on it, blocking some of the light. You can see the sparks jumping all over the place, and you can see some fragments bouncing off the wall. Those are fragments of the coil, and it goes dark pretty fast. You can see some things still glowing, bouncing around. All right, one more to look at.
What's the size of the capacitor again?
What size was it?
Yeah.
507 microfarads.
And what voltage?
And we were running, it will run up to about 5,000. He didn't want to damage it because it's a research capacitor. We were running probably 4,000. Yeah. All right, one more. This one's got that sound.
That's hundreds of joules.
Yeah, it's more like thousands. It's 3,000. You do the math while I'm working on this. Okay, so again, I'm just going through frame by frame. This one's kind of cool because I think you can see plasma. That's what I believe we're seeing. What do you think? Okay. Yeah, this was another filter on it, no light coming in. We were just using a couple polarizers. So we have it in the physics department, right? So, but anyway, that's what it looked like through those two polarizers. Okay, so a couple more pretty pictures. So this is what the box looks like when you're done.
Whoa.
You can see pieces of the coil embedded. Now this is melamine, you know, it's like sign board, and it has a Lexan front on it so that we can see through it. And this part here is where it's connected And here's the dowels, and you can see what they look like. And anyway, yeah, so let's look at another picture. That's, you can see the side where a lot of the coil is embedded in the side. This is we had a little bit of trouble with our switch, quote unquote, and it flashed over like this and broke. Okay. And here's some quarters. So you've got a full-size quarter, and then you've got some ones that we shrunk in a nickel, about the size of a nickel. So we got rid of some mass. No, they're thicker. Okay, they're still the same density. They just thickened and shrunk. All right, so this is what he wanted to do. I said, okay, that's great. We can do that and take some pictures and show pretty pictures, but I can't ever demonstrate that in front of anybody. It's too dangerous. I want you to build me something that we can demonstrate, and so we made a can crusher. So we've brought the can crusher today. So, by the way, this student had a part-time job working at a cabinet shop and saved all the little scraps of wood. I believe this is walnut that he was saving.
Only science.
Okay.
There's something right beside it.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're obvious to you. I couldn't see. We're in now. Okay, so I've got inside of the box a 77 microfarad capacitor. And again, it's hooked up, this guy, he's pretty ingenious. It's hooked up with a solenoid that is the charging circuit. And I told him, what I want is I want to push the button and it charges. I want to release it and it discharges. I don't ever want it to sit around charged. Okay? And so that was the idea. He built it, and so when you release it, it discharged. Well, it didn't disconnect the charging circuit fast enough, and so some of that current went backwards and blew up the diodes. Okay, so good thing they were in the box. But anyway, we've got it so that now it's got a delay. It's got an RC circuit in it, so it's about a 5 or 6 second delay. And we'll take a can in here. So we've got our coil. This is where we put the quarter on the other one. I'm going to put a can in here and turn that on. Okay, 3,000, 4,000, 500. There's 5,000. And when I let go, it's going to be, like I said, about 5 seconds. It's going to be loud, right? You're expecting loud, so we protect our hearing. I have plenty of time. When I let go, I can plug my ears. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite as cool as the quarter, but at least the coil's still in one place. Okay. And that's what so I got one other thing to check with this, and that is I'm gonna take my coil flat and let's sit a can on top of it. Okay. Anybody got an idea what's gonna happen here? We'll try it a little less voltage. And are you ready to catch it? If it comes out that way? So I'm at 3,500. Here we go.
Okay, so over the years, I figured out, I've been coming to these, I missed the one in Logan in about 2010. But otherwise, I've been coming to these since 2002. And so, I know coming to these, the physics teachers all like to see something new, right? We saw all the old ones before and we've seen them all. So I only have, I think, one thing that I haven't showed at one of these things before, but I know that there's a bunch of you that haven't been coming to these things since 2002. Some of you have not even we're alive in 2000. So, I have a couple of perpetual favorites that I thought that I would bring out that we like to do in our classes, but we often don't do in the public shows. Okay, so this is just a bucket, right, and it really does have water in it. Okay, right, and so you've seen these probably on TV before, right? But it's not that hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swing this in a circle vertically over my head, right? It's too bad Steve Shropshire's not here because he likes to demonstrate for things in which there's some danger to the presenter, right? And there really is no danger in this because of physics. I can go a little slower, but I don't want to go too much slower. So why doesn't the water fall on my head? Yes?
Because the air is going against the bucket and it's making the air heading so much that it won't fly out.
No, it's not the air. You know, centripetal, yes, but what's the key? Why does it stay in the bucket? Yeah, it's inertia. The water has inertia, right? Inertia says things want to go in straight lines at constant speeds. And if I don't let them, if I make them go in circles, then they will. But they don't like it. So they stay in the bucket.
It's just falling this way.
It's falling into the bucket. Right. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Maybe you want to see that one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Ziggy Peacock version. See, because there's no water in it. There really was water in it. But Zig used to get lots of miles out of that, so I had to do that here in his memory. Okay. Now, the other things I'm going to show you here are all acoustic related. So I want to start with this one. Okay? And this one has been popularized by the show The Big Bang Theory. You ever watched The Big Bang Theory? I've only have seen just a couple of episodes of it. But the ones that I like to watch, there's a guy named David Melman who is a physicist at UCLA that is an advisor to that show. So if you ever are watching that show and you look and see there's like equations and stuff on the chalkboard behind Sheldon and Leonard are arguing with Penny about something or other, those are real physics equations, and some of them are funny if you know what the equations are saying. Okay, but so David Melman periodically comes to the American Physics Society meetings and gives talks about the funny things that he has done on the Big Bang Theory. One of which was Sheldon dressing up as the Doppler effect at a Halloween party. And he tried, and the outfit has wide white stripes on the outside and narrow white stripes on a black background in the middle, and then wider white stripes on the other side. He looks sort of like a zebra, right? That's not symmetric. And he tries to go to the party and try to explain to people that he's the Doppler effect, and he does the little thing, and then people say, that's some sort of learning divisibility, that's very insensitive. Poor Sheldon does it. Anyway, so the Doppler effect. Okay, so this is just a buzzer, right? And there's a little 9-volt battery, and it makes that very annoying sound. But if you just let it sit there, you can hear that the pitch is constant. It's the same frequency, right? So now, since it's on the string, I'm just going to swing it over my head. And the Doppler effect says that any time that there's relative motion between you and the source, then it changes the pitch. If it comes toward you, then the pitch goes up, and if it goes away from you, then the pitch goes down. Right? So during that particular time of the year, when all there is really to watch is NASCAR, unless you want to watch bowling, right? Because basketball's done and baseball hasn't really got started yet. Football's way past, right? It's just NASCAR. So that very distinctive sound of the car going by is the Doppler effect. That's why Sheldon thought it was funny to go near, right? Because that's the Doppler effect. So here it is in slower motion. Hear the pitch change? And there'll be a bigger pitch change the faster I go, right? Well, so I can take this thing and put it inside of something I can throw.
Like what? Like a Pac-Man ball.
Like this ball.
Which is a Pac-Man ball.
Right? So that stays inside the ball. Right? Rob? You ready?
Oh, you want me to pitch it?
So as it's coming toward you, listen for the pitch change, right? Now it's hard because it also will be spinning, unless you can throw a good knuckleball, right? So it doesn't spin. And I'm going to try to do that, and we'll see how it goes. Are we ready?
I hope so.
Did you hear the pitch go up as it's coming toward you? Okay, now he's going to throw it back. Listen for the pitch. Okay, did you hear the pitch go down? Okay, let's try one more time. Yeah, permanently went down.
Throw it a different direction.
Okay, let's see. You ready? Did you hear it go down? Okay, all right, so that's the Doppler effect. These little buzzers, you can get, I think we got ours from the Science Source, and they're not very expensive. Yeah, Science Source. And so you can get a lot of them, and you can, you know, when your Cub Scout group comes to do your physics thing and you're throwing them back and forth, it's not that bad. Okay, so now I want to talk about the proportions of the overtone series. Okay, so these guys are really fun. Usually, the fundamental frequency of this length of pipe is too low for you to be able to swing it slow enough to hear it. Right? But the idea is you swing these things over your head. Hear that pitch? Right? So the pipe is resonating. And the actual fundamental frequency is an octave below that. Okay, so if that's the second harmonic, the third one should be an open fifth above that. That one. Hear it? And the next one will be the 2 octaves above the fundamental. Right? That's the overtone series. Right? And so that very distinctive set of frequencies is the overtone series. Okay? And the ancients, you go back to Pythagoras, recognized that and saw it. And so now...
Next Academy Awards, I want to see that.
Yeah, if we can get them to light up. So those proportions were, and they ended up, because of the mathematical purism of it, the purism? Purity, thank you. They attributed sacred qualities to this idea. And so by the time the Middle Ages were in full swing, they had decided that as they built sacred structures, that they would build those frequency patterns into the structure itself. And so when you go to medieval European cathedrals, they're all in the same proportions, right? The length of the nave and the length of the sides and the length of the body is the same as the proportions of the harmonic series. So if you want to do that with music, you can, but you have to have something that you can't really change the frequency other ways, right? So this is actually an old Army bugle, and as a former Army bugler, you like the plastic ones because if you have to get up early in the morning and bugle, you don't want it to actually stick to your lips, right? You like the plastic. Okay, but those same proportions are in the harmonic series of every musical instrument. Not just the stringed instruments, not just the brass instruments, but also instruments like the timpani. That there's frequencies that resonate on the head of the drum. So, because I'm not that good a bugler, I can't play the fundamental frequency on this bugle. It's an octave below the note that it will actually play. Right? So the lowest note it will play is this one. Right? So the octave below that is the fundamental. Okay, so that's the second harmonic. The third is the open fifth above that. And then 2 octaves above fundamental. You see the pattern? It's the same one as we had in the thing swinging around your head. Major third, minor third, major second, major second, 2 octaves, 3 octaves above the fundamental. Okay, but just for fun, every bugle song you ever heard are those 7 notes, done in different lengths and patterns, right? So when you're in the Army, everything you do, I'm in charge of, right? It's time to get up. You've heard that before, right? It's time to put the flag up. It's time to take the flag down. It's time to eat. It's time to go to bed. There they all are. Okay? Now, Ron Galley, who was here just a minute ago doing the thing with his cap, made this for me many years ago, and so now when I come to these, I have to bring it. Because this is just the same thing as a bugle, only it's 15 feet long.
What?
And you break it up into pieces like this so that you can carry it around. Now, I have one of my brothers that used to play in the band Salzburger Echo. If any of you were from the Salt Lake area, remember that band? 2 of the guys in that band were my brothers. And they have actually teak wood versions of these that are worth thousands of dollars that they haul up on the top of Snowbird Baldy during Oktoberfest and play for the people that are insensible. But this is the same thing as a bugle, only since it's really long, the fundamental frequency is really low. So that when you actually play it, all the frequencies that you can play are all up in those higher partials where you can play all the notes. You can play whatever note you want to, and the only difference is how you set your lips. So it takes a little practice to where you're going to put your lips. But you can play whatever song you want. Let's see, so since we're here at the University of Utah. Right? That's how the Alphorn works, right? They're not doing anything to play fingers or valves or anything like that. It's all is in your mouth. And that usually they'll play like this song. Right, guys, that one? That's Ron always asks for that one, his favorite one. So I have to play that one. Anyway, so there's a PVC pipe Alphorn. The last one that I want to do is one that I haven't done at one of these before. But these are so fun. And the idea of them, really of what sound is really fun. So how many of you have seen these talkie tapes before? Just a few of you. All right, well, cool. So all this is a piece of plastic that they have gotten a little bit hot and then pinched onto it a set of little ridges. And the ridges are in a specific pattern. The distance between them and the depth of them are such that when you drag your fingernail over the ridges, it sets up vibrations in the string, in the tape, right? And those vibrations then travel down the length of the tape. And since it's just the tape, they don't move very much air, right? So I'll just do it. I'm going to hold on to this end and drag my finger over it like this. Right? You guys that are up close can hear that a little bit, right? But it's not moving much air around. So if I could attach it to something that would make it move more air, then you can hear it better.
Microphone.
Well, so that's what these cups are
I
for.
actually heard it.
Could you hear it? Okay, so now I'm going to stack it on the bottom of this cup. Listen close.
Okay.
Because you hear words in it? Listen close. Happy holidays. Okay, listen close. Right? If I drag it faster, what do you predict? The pitch will go up, right? And if I do it slower, okay, so there's the happy holidays. If you're go a little bit later in the year, then you can say this one. The right side. One more time. Be my Valentine. Now, if you're a physicist, this is the way to do it. Right? Just think how popular you could be. I always tell my students that part of the reason that we want to learn science is so we can be popular, right? And they always say, Dr. Piper, you're going to different parties than us. Anyway, so there's Be My Valentine. Here's another one that you could do about that time of year, maybe a little earlier. Happy New Year! Okay? And the reason why that we named my demonstration what we did today is because of this tape. Do you hear it? Science is fun, and it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Now, Richard Hills from Weber State's going to show us some stuff on Bernoulli. I was teaching a demonstration that's fun to get students to predict what's going to happen.
I don't hear you though.
Especially if they don't know about physics. So let's kind of all pretend that we don't know about physics. And I've got this hose hooked up to compressed air stream. And we put this ping pong ball in here. And what's going to happen if I turn on the air? It's going to blow the ping pong ball right out of there. Right? Okay. So, demonstration. Let's see, I need to turn the air on somewhere.
Some people can't get a ball out of it. Oh, what can we say?
Why doesn't that air blow that ball out of there? Now you can pretend that you know something about physics. And it's, what is it? It's the Bernoulli effect. Yes, right. Bernoulli effect, if you have a stream of fluid, okay, and it's where the fluid is moving the fastest, the pressure's the lowest. Which is right down here. The pressure is lower here than it is out here. And so the pressure out here pushes the ball down into the funnel. Okay, and it just sticks here.
So the air was going out.
And now,
Richard, we have a question.
yes, question.
I just wanted to understand, so the air was going out, it wasn't sucking in.
Yeah, we don't talk about pressure sucking something in, so it's being pushed in by the higher pressure out.
No, but I mean the air through the tube, the air through the air going through the tube was going in the direction.
Compressed air.
How do we know you didn't hook that up to a vacuum?
Because I said so.
Yeah.
I'm the chief. Now, funnel. Okay, so I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to turn on some air, and then what do you suppose is going to happen? Well, the air is moving fastest here, right? Than it is out here. Okay, so the ball is just going to get pulled right in here by the higher pressure out here, right? So the ball's just going to go right in there by the, but now we know about the Bernoulli effect. Okay, so turn that on, not too much. Long again, Albert. Now we notice it's going up and down, and it's jiggling sideways. That's good enough on So two things happen here. One is it's floating, and the other is it's jiggling back and forth and staying in the stream. So how do we explain that? Well, let me do another demonstration, and I think it'll help us to explain at least as far as what floating goes. There's a tube of water. I'm going to drop a marble down this tube. And of course, the marble moves down, but it's like the fluid moving up. Okay, so there are two things to notice here about this. Ready? Want to see that again? What you think about it? Ready? Want to see that again? Can't do that again. Okay, so here's a little more visual, thank you. A little more visual demonstration of that, but a little harder to, it doesn't demonstrate it quite as much. Here's a pool ball in a flask, graduated flask, and we'll drop it in here. Whoa. You can see how it's just going down very, very slowly, and you see how it's jiggling back and forth. That's not so visible. So first, how come it goes down at a constant speed? How come it doesn't pick up speed like if you drop it out in the air? And of course, that's because of viscosity or air resistance in this case over here. Air resistance, viscosity. What does Bernoulli's effect say about viscosity? Nothing. Okay, so the fact that the ball floats is not explained by Bernoulli's principle. Okay. It's explained by a terminal velocity effect. As the air is spreading out, of course, it's moving faster here and slower up here. Okay, and so the ball seeks its level where the terminal velocity keeps the ball floating. Okay, now what about the other effect about going back and forth like this? Here's the usual explanation on YouTube. Okay. And I think someone's going to talk about misconceptions of Bernoulli's principle tomorrow. Steve Hart, is Steve?
Right here.
Am I going to be encroaching on your?
No, no.
Okay. Here's the diagram, the usual diagram you see. And if the ball is off center, okay, then the flow overhead gets slowed down, and the flow over here is faster, okay, and so it makes the ball move to the center. But that's wrong. Okay, because here you can see that the air is squeezed. The closer together the streamlines are, the faster the velocity. And so if this picture were right, the velocity would be faster here, and it would be over here. So the ball would move away from the center. And that's called the Coenida effect. And that's like the upper curvature of an airplane wing. That's how you get lift to support the airplane. So this is not correct. And Steve, are you going to explain this tomorrow about what's not correct about this picture?
I'll mention a couple things, but
Just say that the flow here is uniform. That's the main thing that's wrong. The flow over here comes out like this. So really, the streamlines are getting farther apart down here, okay, because it's slowing down, and so the picture. Now, in this case, where you saw the ball take off, okay, well, there it was moving away from the center, right? It was moving away from the center. The reason for that is that the flow is confined here, so it moves away from the center, and it gets squeezed, and so the velocity increases here, and so it moves farther away from the center till it hits the side. And it bounces off, and now it moves over to the other side. So that is the Bernoulli's effect. I'm wiggling back and forth on this tube. And I made a little demonstration to illustrate that. There's a ball inside of a confined flow, confined stream. Let's turn on the air here. I think we could call this the Bernoulli bell, and have it made out of glass, and have a hard clapper in here, and as it goes back and forth, it would ring the bell. Okay, so that is explained by the Bernoulli. Okay, let me do just one more demonstration here. I guess maybe we got time. No, just do one more demonstration. Okay. Here's a plastic tube. Okay, I'm going to blow air underneath this plastic tube. And so what's going to happen? Let's see if I bring it up a little bit. And the air is going to move faster under the tube, right? And slower over the tube. So it's going to pull it down. Is that what we're predicting?
Yeah.
Students? Let's do that. Well, I should have tried this before. Actually, what happens is it spins. Okay. And as it spins, there's an effect called the Magnus force. And that's how tennis balls and baseballs curve. It's because it's spinning. And so you get a deflection of the airstream downward because it's spinning, and that causes it to lift up. So you can try with this and just see. I could try with that, but I think you probably need to rebend the rods or something like that. Just one more comment here. There's a label on this. Okay, what do you think it says on this? Bernoulli. There's another
What happens when you blow the air over the top of it?
It's still, well, let's see, blow the air on the top. I guess it spins the other way and it doesn't.
Lift it?
The Bernoulli effect would say that it's moving faster than the medium. Down. And as a matter of fact, if it's spinning in the other direction, Yeah, I can feel the rod. It's too close to the ground. Yeah, that's all I got. This is Dwayne Merrill from Brigham Young University. I taught science in a high school for a long time, so if you raise your hand, your left hand, that means you know the answer. If you raise your right hand, that means you don't know the answer. And the principal will think you're all participating and you know everything. This is how we work things out when we get there. So, you got that? This is my hot poker. Okay, it's real expensive equipment. It's just a nail in a vice grip. That's all it is. Okay, and I'm going to get it hot. Get it red hot. This is just a bottle of water. They said this is smart water, so I knew that it was good stuff. You know. And the question is it's got a lid on it. I'm going to poke a hole in it. So if you think it's going to leak, raise your hand to that wall. If you think it's not going to leak, raise your hand to that wall. Okay? Got it? See the principles? Yeah. Oh man, he's got good students. They're all participating. Everything's going well in class today. Okay, so this is brought to you by doing dishes when I was a little kid. Dishwashers have ruined this stuff. Okay, so I just got a hot poker. I'm going to poke a hole in it. I'm going to pull it out. And no leak. Okay? Now I promise you there's a hole. See that? It leaks without a hole, okay? That was the easy one, if you got that one. Now I'm going to poke another hole in it. Now you got to decide if it's going to leak or not leak.
Where are you going to poke the hole?
What's your answer? If you want to bet on it, I'll go with you. Is it going to leak or not leak?
It's going to leak.
It's going to leak? Okay, David. David says it's going to leak. So I'll go to work on it it's going to leak. Okay?
Rob's going to
You got where's my hole at? Right there? Okay, we'll just go put a hole, poke another hole right there.
Oh, I was wrong.
Didn't leak. Okay? So I control that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what you have there. So now I'll put a third hole in it. And then there really are holes, see that? There's really holes in this bottle. I'll put the third hole in it, and I'll put the third hole in the lid. Okay, then you can decide if it's going to leak or not leak. So, okay, you can decide. Leak or not leak, you got it? Okay, I can fix that too. I put my fingers on it. I can put a hole in the top now. It doesn't leak. Have all this stuff down. Now, okay, so that's what you have. You have leak and not leak and holes all over the place. But now the fun gets going. Whoa, I'm going to fall down. Okay. Where's your mop at, Al? Okay. Because I'm going to get hurt. I'm allergic to ladders and propane. I'm going to use the walls right now. So we have that. Because the question now, as it gets kind of fun, is if I put my finger over the hole, it shouldn't leak, right? There, it doesn't leak. Okay? When I drop it, when I take my finger off the hole, will it leak or not leak? Yeah. It leaks all over the place. Okay, so hold up here. If you have a camera in slow motion, it might help you now. But I'll drop it. Adam, you might need to save my bottle for me because I'm going to need it one more time. After it goes in, just so I don't lose all the water out of it. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Nothing, right? Nothing. No leak. Okay, so no leak. Somebody knows all the answers. I just know how to poke the holes in the bottom. So now the question is, we had 1 hole, no leak, 2 holes, no leak, the third hole on top leak, right? Dropping, no water came out, right? Okay, so let's do the easy one. If I throw it up, what happens? Leaks or no leaks?
No leak.
Okay, you got your cameras ready? Okay, Adam can catch it, just you're getting wet. Here you go, it's going to go high.
No leak.
No leak.
go. There's a great
Thanks, Dwayne. Now the BYU is tag teaming, we have Clark Snellgrove.
Don't follow.
Thanks for coming, folks.
Okay, it's always a little hard to know exactly what to prepare for a show like this because we don't know who's going to come. And so this time I decided to prepare for my colleagues who have had this problem